We're talking push trucks, PA posse, really big right rear wheels, and racing on dirt. From Silver Dollar to Williams Grove, Eldora to Devil's Bowl, and of course, Knoxville. This is Winged Nation, presented by Hercules Tires. Now your hosts, Steve Post and Erin Evernham.
Hello again. Welcome in. It is MRN Wing Nation, presented by Hercules Tire here on MRN.com, talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week. Erin Evernham, yeah, big nod of the head, right? Exactly.
Absolutely.
It's our therapy session or something from the rest of the crazy world.
Exactly.
The crazy world of sprint car racing.
The crazy world in general.
Well, exactly. There we go. So it is great to have you here, and we have got a great program lined up for you. The North Pole Nightmare, Bill Balog. What a show he put on Saturday night. Wow, we're going to talk to Bill about that. And Bill's headed east. If you want to follow along with that next weekend, going to be good. Speaking of east, speaking of Pennsylvania, a little bit more specifically, Fred Rahmer joins us for an edition of Fred Said, and Rich Farmer from Fremont and Fast Series going to join us as well. It is a great, great time. Alongside is Erin Evernham. How are you?
I'm good.
That's good. I'm fantastic. Now, we learned that up in Pennsylvania, the All-Stars were in there, and it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Because when the blue 69 car shows up, they're racing for second.
Unbelievable.
He was leading on Friday night and had a fuel line come off or something, fuel line issue. And then Saturday night, started sixth and just right across, right by. See ya.
So what's their record now? I mean,
they're 10 for 21 or something like that. That's unreal.
That is it's unreal.
It's insane how good they are. And it's just, and now listening to drivers talk, it's like, yeah, we were the best in class behind the 69 car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what it's kind of like you're going there and you're hoping for second place. You know, and right now Stevie Smith, he won Friday night when Lance had a problem, and he finished second. So good to see Stevie, and that's one of the reasons we want to talk to Fred is, number-wise, it's been a struggle this year compared to what they've been doing, but it looks like they're getting their footing right now because they are running really, really well. Set the 69K car apart. You know, I mean, that guy. This was really, really cool on Saturday at Richmond.
Yeah.
You know, I understand this is sprint car racing, not sprint cup racing. And I know there's sometimes when sprint car fans get all twisted up about NASCAR and whatever they want to call it, whatever it is, okay? Reality of it is we're Motor Racing Network. We're the voice of NASCAR. We love our NASCAR too, okay? We love our NASCAR, no doubt about it.
We appreciate the NASCAR drivers who help us sprint car people.
Well, there's the thing right there, and it's because of NASCAR drivers helping sprint car drivers. We've got some really good teams out there racing, but I think it's really, really cool. We've there's no mystery. NASCAR is trying to find its way in 2016. I mean, some crowds are down, numbers are this, numbers are that. And so they did a fan appreciation event at Richmond, okay? And the way they chose for the drivers to salute the fans was spectacular.
It was. It was spectacular.
It was a good idea.
It was a great idea. I mean, I honestly loved it, but there was part of me that was like, hey.
Yeah.
Hey, that's our thing.
That's our thing.
But at the same time, like you said to me, imitation is the highest form of flattery.
They did a 4-wide salute.
And it was neat. It looked cool when they were all lined up.
Erin, I'm telling you, my position, and I tweeted my seat, okay? My position was I was in turn 4 on the pit area.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was me on the inside of turn number 4, the cars, and the fans.
Yeah.
When they went by me, I could barely hear the cars.
That's cool.
The fans lost their minds. The flash bulbs, the lighting it up was unreal. It's what we're used to with sprint car racing. You know, Johnny Gibson, you wanted the best, you got him, and we're all, I mean, I'm a guy that just sits there and watches the races, and half the time when Gibson's doing it, I'm up screaming my hand.
I am, absolutely.
There's
it's like one of my favorite parts.
I know, and there's times I'm doing that in a hotel room, which is a little embarrassing, I mean, but so we get the excitement of it. And I'm telling you, imitation is the highest form of flattery. We had a funny email chain before this happened. I had got wind of it happening. And so I kind of sent it to you and to Krager and to Kendra and to Ashley. And we were talking about different things. And I said imitation is the highest form of flattery. And Craig said, next thing you know, they'll be doing heats. Oh, wait a minute. They are doing heats in the Xfinity Series. So I think it's great. And I think it's great of NASCAR to look around.
Yeah.
And it speaks volumes for what's happening in the sprint car world that NASCAR, the biggest series in the world, is looking at sprint car racing and stole an idea from sprint car racing. Imitation is the highest form of flattery. The fans loved it.
Yeah. It was neat. I wasn't there in Richmond, but watching on TV, and I knew it was coming because you had warned me. And I had my moment where I was like,
it was weird. I looked at it too.
But then I saw it, and I'm like, all right, it doesn't matter.
I only wish they'd have brought Johnny Gibson in. That's the only thing I wish.
No,
but he was,
then I would have been like, no, Johnny's our thing.
Yeah, Johnny. Okay,
I was waiting him to say Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah, we'll negotiate. We'll negotiate NASCAR. You can have the 4 wide, but we keep Gibson.
Yeah, deal.
All right. Okay, there we go. A couple of cool things. Outside of the front row, the outside 2, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Kyle Larson. So guys that have done 4 wide salutes, no big deal.
I wasn't really like how they did it though. They brought up the back half of the field. Yeah. I was like, no.
Exactly.
Odd rows out. Come on, you need to know
rows out,
yeah.
exactly. But they did just because they have the 2 pace cars, and when that last pace car, they just rolled them up, and that's because that's what allowed us to have Stenhouse and Larson up on the front row. True. So that worked out good. And Jeff Gordon radioed into the crew. And he says, I'll tell you what, it's easier to do a 4 wide salute in a stock car than in a sprint car. So there you go. There, and those of you watching on YouTube, you can see right now, there's the picture of it. We've got David Reagan and Denny Hamlin, but there's Kyle Larson and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. on the outside. It was cool. Imitation is the highest form of flattery. We love our NASCAR, and we love when NASCAR is sensible enough, big enough, smart enough, smart enough to say, hey, man, this works in sprint car racing. Let's give this a whirl and try it. And I loved it. I thought it was really good. We don't need to do it every week, but it worked really, really good at Richmond. Really did. Hey, let's take a look at our Classic Ink screen printing and embroidery results page. Friday night, the World of Outlaw Craftsman Sprint Cars. It was the 63rd annual Gold Cup Race of Champions at Silver Dollar Speedway. Shane Stewart picked up the win on Friday. And on Saturday, it was Rico Abreu. How about Rico rolling?
That was impressive.
Rico and Chico.
Yeah.
See that? I didn't see that.
That's his kind of track, too.
It really is, man. Elbows up.
Chili bowl type of elbows up.
Elbows up. I'll wheel it in there harder than you can wheel it in there. Exactly. Let's talk top 3. I thought Shane Stewart, Joey Saldana, Jack Hodenshield third. I love that. Yeah. On Saturday, Rico, Darren Pittman, and Andy Forsberg. Andy's a great racer. My gosh, great guy. We've had him on the shows a few times. Really, really cool. Arctic All-Star Circuit of Champions, Tuscarora 50 weekend at Port Royal. The night before the 50, it was Stevie Smith, Greg Hodnett, and Lucas Wolf. Saturday night, it was Lance Deweese, Stevie Smith, Dale Blaney. One of the things we talked about last week here on the show was this Dale Blaney, Chad Kemenaugh, Sheldon Hodenshield point battle. Friday night was the only point race. Saturday night was a non-point race. Friday night, and they all 3 finished in the top 11. 10, top 11. Yeah. So it was it kind of Dale was ahead of them.
Same order.
Same order, exactly. So Dale, nobody got hurt by Pennsylvania. Now they can go to Eldora and to Atomic and settle it amongst themselves and not have that influx of Pennsylvania posse cars that can sometimes really alter a point battle. IRA bumper-to-bumper sprints, it was all Bill Balog. We'll talk to Bill in just a little bit, the Amsoil Speedway and Cedar Lake Speedway. Midwest Open Wheel Racing, listen to this, okay? They had races scheduled for Friday night in Jacksonville, Saturday in Spoon River, okay? Weather was terrible. Both places canceled. Well, when Spoon River canceled, Jacksonville, and I don't know how they're located, but Jacksonville said, hey, we can't go Friday, but we can turn this track around and go Saturday night. Do you want to do it? And they did it and gave the racers a night of racing on Saturday night.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
So they ran, cool. Exactly. And it's just worth, can't we all get along? I mean, I love that, and you know, the Amoa people and Jacksonville are like, can't we just, let's figure this out. We can have the track ready by Saturday night. Spoon River's not racing. Let's go. So they did it Saturday night, and they raced, and Chris Urish picked up the win. Weekly 410 racing, Thomas Kennedy picked up the Thursday night win at River Cities. Friday night it was Nick Omdahl. Saturday at Badlands, Logan Foiler. Ken Mackey won at Butler. Brian Lay, career first 410 win at Fremont. And Joey Montgomery won at St. Francis. Listen to this one. This one, Ashley sent me this morning. She was poking around Area Auto Racing News, which is not a bad place to be looking around. No. And Area Auto Racing News is a pretty sporty magazine. And the Scone Series, these are the sprint cars of New England, 360 sprints, okay? And you'll appreciate this one, okay? Lacey Hanson, a 28-year-old, became the first female to win a sprint car race in New England. Very cool. Very, very cool as a New Englander. And did you ever race in New England much? You were mainly New York, right? Yeah, never got to.
I guess we ran one race in Vermont, but that's about it.
That's about it, exactly, yeah. And this is really cool. She was at Legion Speedway. She borrowed a car from what happened the week before is her front clip needed to be repaired, and another guy, Steve Hutchins, lost the rear end of his race car. The rear end of it, or whatever it was, And so what they did is they got together this week and took her rear end and put in his race car, put her wing on top of it, made a whole one, and then she went out and whooped him from
Very
7th.
cool.
And one beat the track champion or the series champion and everyone else. And she was one of her quotes was, "I don't mean to talk bad about my car, but this is a lot better car.
I want this one."
I want this one. So congratulations, Lacey Hansen. Really, really cool picking up the win. First woman to win a sprint car race in New England. That is the Classic Ink screen printing and embroidery results page. Great T-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, towels, hats, and more. Corporate, other sports, schools, special events. Find out why drivers like Brian Brown, Donnie Schatz, Danny Dietrich, Danny Lasowski, Brady Bacon, and more, they choose Classic Ink. You should too. Oh, by the way, it's that time. 2017, not that far away. Not a bad idea to get T-shirt budgets in place and get T-shirt plans in place. You got to do it.
I know, and I'm just thinking it's already time to think about 2017.
I know. Those drivers going to Australia, you got to get them ordered so you can take them down there.
Stick them in your suitcase.
That's right, ClassicInkUSA.com. That's www.ClassicInkUSA.com. When we return, it's a nightmare, the North Pole Nightmare. Bill Balog, he joins us next.
I'm Shane Stewart, and you're listening to Wing Nation on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
Aggressive Hydraulics, where we engineer the cylinders that move your business. We specialize in crafting hydraulic cylinders and components with superior precision and performance, making OEM products stronger and creating more opportunities for distributors and repair facilities. Crafting cylinders that operate on a global basis in a wide variety of industries and applications. Get aggressive with your cylinder challenges. Aggressive Hydraulics.
Hi, I'm Jeff Gordon. Did you know that 43 children are diagnosed with cancer each and every day? That more children die from cancer than any other disease? Athletes of all ages are dedicating their stats to change these stats, and you can too. Visit JeffGordonChildren'sFoundation.org to become a Kick It champion. No matter what sport, you can use your points, laps, or goals to change the odds for kids with cancer. Make your stats really count. Become a Kick It champion.
This is power. This is freedom. This is tradition.
It's Dale Earnhardt with the lead.
This is being who you were meant to be, where you were meant to be. This is more than a race. This is Talladega. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup returns October 21st through 23rd. Call 1-877-GO-TO-DEGA for tickets.
Hi, I'm Jeff Gordon, and now back to Wing Nation.
Thank you, Jeff. We are having an absolute blast, and we are so glad you joined us. Erin Evernham and Steve Post. What a story we have from this past weekend. Of course, we love what's going on with the IRA bumper-to-bumper sprints, and a lot of times the man to beat is Bill Balog, the North Pole Nightmare, and Bill joins us on the Hercules Tire Hotline. Hello, Bill. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
Well, you doing all right? Everything good in your world?
Oh, yeah, everything's good.
Well, okay. Now you had just a normal night on Friday. You won at Amsoil Speedway in Superior, Wisconsin, okay? And that's well and fun. Winning races is great. But tell us a little bit about your Saturday night adventure at Cedar Lake, because it did not always go as planned, I'm assuming.
No, it didn't. Actually almost crashed in qualifying. It just got bouncing a little bit there, but ended up turning a pretty good lap, and then ended up getting together with a guy in the heat race and ending up on top of the wall with everything all tore up. So at that point, we weren't going to get our qualifying time back, and we'd have to start near the rear of the field in the feature. So things were looking pretty grim, and we ended up getting the car fixed back up and winning the race. So it was a pretty awesome night.
Wow. So, Bill, you got upside down on the fence. Was there any frame damage, and what did you have to repair to get it back out there for the feature?
No, there was no frame damage, which was good. Just a couple wheels, the wings, some shocks and stuff, just kind of normal stuff. It was,
rear end axle, they were good? Front axle good?
Rear end was good, yeah. And I didn't really look at it too close, to be honest. We just did whatever we could, and then kind of re-squared the front end back up. eyeballed it, and then it,
Did you
put
have
it on the racetrack.
when you got out there for the feature? Did you have like a lap or two that you were like, is this thing all right? Everything put back together right? We had to feel it out.
No, not really. We just couldn't really get on it there. We really don't get those types of laps to see, but I think I was still mad, so it didn't really matter what.
Just on the gas, hope for the
happened.
best.
What is that when you have a situation like that, a full-blown thrash? What does that say about your team to be able to pull that all together? And I know you were working right in there with them, but what's that to say about your guys? And do other people jump in and help, or what was that thrash like to get that car back together?
Yeah, they do a great job, and we normally don't carry another car with us. It just doesn't fit in our trailer. We could put a frame in there or something. So if anything really catastrophic, we're kind of done for the night. But everything else we're well prepared for, and they do a great job. There's a couple other guys that jumped in there and helped us too, and it really wasn't that bad of a deal to get it ready. But yeah, they do a great job with it.
Now, it said you came from 18th to 1st, and you had a few yellows that might have helped you out, but it was a pretty stout field that you beat. How big of a celebration was it in Victory Lane after all you had to overcome through the night?
It was really cool. Brooke and Amy Tatnall, Jerry Richard Jr., they all do a lot to put that race on. There's a lot of champagne and stuff flying. It's really cool. So it was good to win that. And like you said, the yellows, everything kind of fell our way, and you got to have that to come from the back with anybody and win. So it was cool. I just got to, keep plugging away and try to pass cars. That was our main goal.
Bill, when you have a night like this, that's just unreal. I mean, and you're in the middle of it. You're tumbling. You're upside down. You're fixing the car. You're passing cars. You're racing cars. When did it hit you? Like, were you standing around having a beer in the pits? Were you riding home? It was in Victory Lane? Is it 2 days later? When did it hit you that, damn, that was, I'll be damned, I won that thing? When did that hit you? When did that moment hit?
Probably right after the race was over, yeah. I mean, it was, there was a lot of smiles, like I said, and, Hans was there, our crew guys and everything, Ben and Craig and stuff, so it was good. It was good. There was we drank a lot of beer.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Now, Bill, you've had a great season, an Outlaw win earlier in the year, but I remember as a driver, nights that I had to come from the back or from some adversity, that those wins or those races, those results felt the best. How does this compare to some of your other wins this year?
It was very satisfying, actually. I think sometimes when you start in the back, it's easy to, maintain the speed of the back markers, I guess you could say. And I just told myself, don't get caught up in that thing. They were, that night in particular, the lap cars, went to the tail, which is not a standard thing for the IRA. So once you're a lap down, you're done. There was, some good cars there that could have easily put us a lap down. So it was one of those deals where just, if we do whatever you got to do to get going, and that's what we did.
Man, that is so exciting and really, really cool. Picked up the $4,000 to win, and big celebration as well. Bill, I was following along on social media and understand that you're headed east next week. Describe a little bit the decision to go over the Dirt Classic at Lincoln Speedway. What would make a driver where you're at go over and want to do that?
Couple phone calls, I guess. Justin Adams called me. I've always wanted to go there, to be honest. I think Lincoln is, probably fit me, I think. We'll see, I guess. But I've always wanted to go there and compete against those guys. I know that they're the best around. So I don't think we have anything else on our schedule. I have to race as much as possible. So it was just one of them deals where, and I thought Path Valley too, that would be a good one to go to, and I guess I just heard that got canceled. But so we might go to Williams Grove as well. But yeah, definitely looking to the Dirt Classic. Looking forward to that one. That'll be a good show.
Well, if you want now, I've just figured out the schedule because I'm headed that way. There's the Thursday night race in Susquehanna, then Williams Grove on Friday, then the Dirt Classic. So if you need to get races in, you're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Steve will
I
help.
don't know.
He'll help
No,
crew.
you don't want me
scrape
helping.
mud.
You don't want me to touch the car. No, don't let me touch the car. I will have a beer after we're done, though.
Okay, sounds good.
Oh, that's good. So I saw you also have an NSL race or two and an outlaw show, I think, left on the schedule for this year. So in addition to the Pennsylvania races, what else do you have going on?
Friday, Spencer, Iowa, Clay County Fairgrounds with the NFL and the World of Outlaws. I'm going to go to Beaver Dam. They have a half mile and the other track there that we're going to go to. Each one of those again. I don't know what else there is. I think we'll go to Charlotte, if everything works out.
Cool.
So,
Very cool.
Yeah, whatever we can fit in here at the end, and then try to figure out something for next year.
Get as much as you can, that's for sure. Get it while you can and while the iron is hot as well. Bill, it is an absolutely great story, what happened at Cedar Lake in New Richmond, Wisconsin. We appreciate you taking some time out and sharing the story with us. Congratulations on the success. I can't wait. I'll catch up with you next week up in Pennsylvania, but we look forward to following along as the rest of the season. Thanks for joining us here on the show.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
There we go. That is the North Pole Nightmare, Bill Balog. He's so unassuming.
He is.
It's
I like that.
dude, you're a rock star. What you did is absolutely amazing. We fixed the car. We tried past everybody. We whooped them.
We really did say they drank some beer.
That's good. Yeah, no doubt.
Drank a lot of beer.
Yeah, drank a lot of beer. Exactly. That is really, really cool. We've had so much fun with Bill. And a shout out to his sister in Alaska. Back years and years ago, Kendra and I met her, and we didn't ask Bill about her, but he usually says, well, she just got out of jail or something like that. So she's all right. But to Bill Balog's sister in Alaska, big shout out to her as well. She always tunes in, and she tunes in particularly when she knows that Bill is going to be on the show. We need to step away. We talked a little bit about Lincoln Speedway. Now we're going to really roll up our sleeves and talk Pennsylvania because Fred Rahmer, he joins us next.
Hi, I'm Dale Blaney, and you're listening to Wing Nation on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
O'Reilly. If your vehicle has a bumpy ride, it might be time for new shocks or struts. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, buy 4 Monroe shocks and struts for the price of 3 after mail-in rebate. Improve your vehicle's steering, stopping, and stability with Monroe shocks and struts at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Helping racing families heal. That is the driving mission behind the Steve King Foundation. Founded after the tragic passing of Steve King at the Knoxville Nationals in 2006, the Steve King Foundation has donated $300,000 to more than 150 individuals and families across 26 states, Australia, and Canada. Now in its 10th year, the foundation has launched Donate 88, an effort to raise $88,888 to continue the work of the Steve King Foundation to families in need. To make a donation, simply text the word Donate 88 to 620-450-4604. And for more information and other ways to donate to the Steve King Foundation, visit them online at www.stevekingfoundation.org.
Time now for a look at a great American dirt track presented by another great American dirt track, the Speed Palace, Port Royal Speedway.
I'm Ashley Stremme. Ground was broke to build a new 3/8 oval semi-banked clay oval in the fall of 1953. The following summer, Cumberland County businessman Ray Garver Sr. had Silver Spring Speedway ready for racing. The first season was considered a failure, and W.A. Kreitzer Jr. was hired as general manager of the track, which lies north of Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. As time went on, the car counts of jalopies, sportsmen's, and eventually late model and sprint cars grew. Many of the region's top talents showcased their talents at Silver Spring Speedway. Car counts were fantastic, and the fans packed the stands. Unfortunately, Silver Spring met the same demise as many other great tracks. The Speedway closed following the 2005 season. The property sold, and a shopping center now stands where some of Pennsylvania's best racing took place. Silver Spring Speedway, a great American dirt track brought to you by another great American dirt track, the Speed Palace, Port Royal Speedway.
Great stuff from Ashley.
Yeah.
And Silver Springs, did you ever get there? I never got there at all. Where I learned so much about it was talking to a guy by the name, and we just tragically lost him. Gary Walford was the all-time winningest driver at Silver Springs. Great guy, and chatted with him at some York fan club banquets and events, and really hit it. So what we're going to do on our Facebook page, facebook.com/wingnation, we will have a little bit later on this afternoon, and within the hour, we will have a link for you to share your Silver Springs stories. We want to see stories. This is one of those that not a lot of us have been to, us younger folks. A lot of you veteran sprint car fans have been around there a lot, so we want to hear Silver Springs stories on our Facebook page. Let's continue with a conversation in the great state of Pennsylvania. Joining us now, team owner of the number 51 and chief guru of Rahmer Promotions, Fred Rahmer's on the line. Hello, Fred. How are you?
Real good. How you guys doing?
We are doing fantastic. Want to talk a little bit about that 51 car. Looks like you've picked up a win Friday night at Port Royal and set the 69K car aside, but looks like you found some pretty good speed here lately, Fred.
Yeah, we're getting closer, and we need to do better. Between Davey and Donnie and Lance are doing a great job, and we just got to pick it up a little bit. But I think we're capable of that, and hopefully, our goal is to do the best we can at the National Open with both the cars.
Fred, we talked to Donnie a few weeks back, and I asked his perspective as a former driver and now owner. So I'd like to hear what your thoughts are outside of the car. What is it like having Stevie drive your car? How much are you involved with his driving, with setup? What do you do at the racetrack with him?
Well, when you got Stevie driving, you don't have to do too much as far as the driving end of it. He knows what to do. I mean, he's probably one of the best drivers I've ever been around. And other than that, I try and give him what input I can, and truthfully, sometimes I lose focus. This weekend, I thought he should be bottom the second half of the race, and the truth should have made some changes to the car and let him drive where he needed it, and I think we'd have been better off. But all in all, I try and watch the car so him and Moon and Freddie can do to it, and I know what the car is used to do, and if I see it doing something like that, then I try and make them aware of that, but really not that much.
Now, with the boys, are you a little bit more hands-on as far as the driving goes with Freddie and Brandon? And by the way, they're doing a really good job, but it's probably a different relationship, owner and driver there. Of course, you got the father-son's thing as well.
Yeah, and truthfully, it's easier to try and help Stevie because – he is such a good driver, but I'm afraid to say anything to the boys because I don't want to screw up and feel bad at the end of the day. But, having Stevie around is actually the best thing I can do for my boys because he can tell them, and like you said, the father-son thing, and not what most people would think. If what I see is if I say, boys, I think you ought to try and run the bottom, well, it'll be 25 laps on the bottom. If Stevie says, I think the bottom's going to be pretty good, if they go to the bottom and it doesn't feel good, they'll move around more than if I say it. So I think they have a little bit too much respect for me, and I'm better off not saying too much.
And you and Stevie seemed like you found something lately. You got the win on Friday night. Is there something specific that you've hit on, or is it just things coming together or ebb and flow of racing?
Nah, I don't think so. I think, we the whole thing, as is how much confidence you have in the car and just a little bit of a feel difference. You get such a big boost of confidence, and he's just getting onto his game right now for whatever reason, and he's done a great job all year. Everybody says we're struggling, which we are compared to the standard we set the last 2 years, but I mean, he's either second, third, or fourth every time he's in the car pretty much, and but we're not winning the races like we feel we can and should.
Well, that's true. Yeah, the standard, you set a pretty high bar along the way. Fred, I always love when we get a chance to hang out at the racetrack and talk. Usually get a chance to have a beer or two along the way. And I love picking your brain on the state of the sport. And you've got such a neat perspective, former driver, team owner, but also running races at Path Valley and doing all that you do over at Path Valley. What's your thoughts on where we're at in central Pennsylvania with 410 sprint car racing? Is it healthy? Is it borderline? Is it concerning? Where's it at?
Well, I'm a little bit afraid for racing in general, but we've all been saying that forever. I mean, we had a race, a little bit back, and we only got 19 410 sprint cars. It was, it was a $27,000 purse, and I'd be lying if I didn't say I was disappointed with the turnout. Even some of the guys that race for a living didn't show up, and I think what it comes down to is we probably, as dumb as this sounds, have too much racing in our area. That was never the case before, but the people that are racing today, that seems to be the problem. And I think we have to slow down. That's why we have a race on the 25th, and it was supposed to be a 410 and a micro show, and we're just going to make it a micro show because the week that we were supposed to have it, Sussie's going to have a race on Thursday now. You got the Grove on Friday, and then Jared Adams is putting on the Casey Kane race, which is probably going to be one of the best races in the area all year. He does such a good job. He's got all these guys coming from in and out of town, which is what the direction I think we need to go. I think we got to have more special races, and I never thought I'd say it. I don't know if we don't need a bye week every once in a while.
It's interesting.
Fred, it seems like every promoter wants to do big events now. Is it the only way to get the good competitors at your track, or is there money in it? Like, what is the reason that there's so many big events now?
Well, it's the same for everybody. I mean, money motivates everyone. I mean, but truthfully, I don't want to have an event, have people come, and then have 19 cars. I don't think that's doing justice to the fans that do show up. I truthfully can't figure out what motivates the people to want to race as far as competitors. More money doesn't seem to be it. I don't know. Double points might be the deal. I don't know at some nights, but it's hard to say. The special events and the 2-day events, I think, are where you can make your most money. I mean, obviously, we have the Outlaws in how many times, and we have our Speed Week show at Williams Grove, and they do really good at all them events. And I would just love to take the time and walk through the back parking lot and see why the people come to them events. It's something I should do to do my job right as a promoter. But I do believe that's where it's heading. I mean, the big events, you have a better chance, of making a good buck. You pay out really good money, and it's really good for everybody.
Yeah, it is interesting. It really is, and it's a challenge trying to figure the calendar itself. I look at the calendar in Pennsylvania, and my God, with and now we're even looking at Thursday night shows. And I know one time talking to one of the drivers up there, they said they were busy every Sunday, but one or something like that for a couple of months. So. It's an interesting debate. It really, truly is as far as the way. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about this next Sunday. I guess it is a week from Sunday at Path Valley. The 410s are not part of it, and I've been part of those shows up there. Those micros, man, they put on a great show at Path Valley. So what do you have going on with those guys?
Well, at the beginning of the year, we did a deal. We were going to have 3 events, and for the sprint cars, all you had to do was be at all 3 events, and you were going to win a trip to Vegas for 2 for 4 days and 4 nights, airfare and hotel on us, and we're still doing that. But for the micros, we were giving a XXX micro chassis and body away and a $500 gift certificate to Hyper. So I'm trying to just honor that for the micros for now, get that out of the way. But we're going to have 600s, and we're going to have the 270s for the first time, and they're going to be a 30-lap event. It'll pay $1,500 for the 600s and $1,000 for the 270s, but there'll be 30-lap events, and our general admission is only going to be $5. Every ticket will be $5. Try and get some people to come out and have a cheap day of racing, and I think they put on excellent racing, and I might try and get some sprint car guys in some of the cars yet too, but that's something I'm working on right now.
Will you try to run that third event with the sprint cars, or are you totally canceling it?
I'm if I can't do it this year, I'll do it. I'll count my next race next year. Or there's only 10 guys, believe it or not, that are eligible for the thing at this point. So I'll talk to them guys, and if I have to, I'll just pay that out this year on 2 races rather than 3. But we'll see what happens and see what the general consensus is amongst the drivers that are eligible.
Fred, a year ago, you put together what was the rave in central Pennsylvania when you brought all the legends back and did it at Lincoln. And a man of your word, you said you're doing it one time because, if this is the last time you're going to see Lynn Paxton race, we don't want to do it again in 2 years. And you were, like I said, everyone was like, he needs to do it again. He needs to do it again. And I understand the whole reason. And the question I'm getting at with that is what's next? Do you have any other big ideas you want to lay on us, or other ideas you're kicking around like that?
Well, truthfully, I want to run my Speed Week next week at Path Valley, or next year rather.
Right.
And I got to come up with a big show, and whatever that is, whether it's a sanctioned race that is really big or an unsanctioned race. Jared Adams got like 5 guys coming into Lincoln, and I still think that the Hatfields against the McCoys, whether it's the NSL, the All-Stars against Central PA, whatever. If we could get guys to go west and guys to come east and have some kind of challenge, I think that'd be a really cool thing, but that's going to take a lot of work, and that's something we're thinking about. And I think, like I said, I think the Casey Kane race is going to be tough sledding. You got Terry McCarl and Tim Kading coming in, and Bill Ballou, and a group of really good cars. And it would really be neat to have my race on Sunday and piggyback off of that, off of Jared's hard work. But I just think I'd be the fourth night of racing in the week before 3 nights of Outlaws the following week, and I see a recipe for disaster there. And like I said, I think it would just extinguish the fans financially. So I'm looking at something like that for next year.
Oh, that's cool.
I got to do something that, same old isn't getting it anymore. You build it and they will come, don't work. So we got to come up with either bigger names or somehow make more excitement into it. I mean, it's really good to me, but the average fan is either too much racing or whatever, but we got to come up with something new and exciting.
I love it, and I know you will. That's really, really cool. I will actually catch up with you next week. I'm going to come up for the Dirt Classic up there. Probably hit all 3 nights, actually, Susquehanna, Williams Grove, and then over there. So I know we'll catch up, and I don't know if we had a rain out at Williams Grove, and we ended up hanging out for a couple hours. I don't know if I can handle one of those again, but if that's the case, so be it.
Some things never change, huh, Fred?
Yeah. Well, I can tell you what changes the next day.
Yeah.
The morning is pretty bad anymore. So at this point, I can barely stay awake long enough to get drunk. But we still have a good time, and there's still a bunch of great people at the races. It's neat when you get them opportunities.
Yeah.
That's the one thing, and you talk about the state of racing. Everybody used to love to be at the track. And if it rained, you stayed there, you drank some beer and the whole deal, and hopefully you had somebody that could drive you home. But, man, anymore it's like the pits are on fire when the race is over and everybody just runs out. I don't quite understand, and I feel bad for my boys and any of the young guys racing because you really don't get to experience what used to be one of the best parts of racing is the friendship and all the fun you had after the races.
God, that is so well said, and that is so true. That is so true. We hung out there for we got rained out Friday night at Williams Grove during Pennsylvania Speed Weeks. The first night we got rained out. We probably hung out an hour and a half there, or hour and a half or 2 hours. Walked out. We were the only ones in the infield. Fred's transporter was the only one in the infield. The only one in there.
Wow. I guess I haven't been around it much lately because
I heard you guys talking about Silver Springs earlier and stories from that. I'll tell you what, if you went to the 100-lapper at Silver Springs, we used to race Sealands Grove on Saturday night and rush to Silver Springs to get there for the end of the race or the party afterwards. You want to talk about getting dinged up. I mean, you could hurt big time the next day after that. That was so much fun. That was such a great racetrack, and it's such a shame that it's not here no more. You can't get another track like that. No way, no how.
Wow, great stuff. Well, Fred, we'll catch up with you next week. Thanks for the time. Congratulations on the recent wins here with Stevie and the boys this year as they continue to just show great signs of improvement along the way. But thanks for joining us here on Wing Nation.
Well, thank you for having us on.
You got it. That's Fred Rahmer. I always leave a conversation, whether it's standing around having a beer or here on Wing Nation, with just like, man, now there's something to think about.
Yes.
There's just something to think about because he's for, a lot of times you get an old driver that decides to do something and it doesn't work out, but he's so he's constantly thinking. He lives
trying to be innovative,
and just trying to sort it out where we're at with it.
And you can't finish a conversation with Fred without laughing and smiling.
I know. It is great. Another edition of Fred Said here on Wing Nation. We need to step away. When we come back, we're going to talk a little Fremont. Rich Farmer, he's going to join us next.
Hi, I'm Craig Kinzer, and you're listening to Wing Nation on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there, whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535. 9535
The National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville, Iowa.
Honoring sprint car racing's greatest achievers.
25 historic sprint cars on display. A movie theater featuring sprint car racing film. And a breathtaking view of historic Knoxville Raceway. Go to SprintCarStuff.com for the largest sprint car gift shop on the planet. The National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville, Iowa.
Visit Tom Johnson Camping World in Concord for all your race week needs. Race into savings now through September 30th and save big on over 400 units in stock. America's #1 RV and outdoor retailer has something for everyone. Get race season started at your local NASCAR headquarters with travel trailers starting at only $109 per month. Don't let these savings pass you by. Meet us at Tom Johnson Camping World and save big on your dream RV. STK number 126508. Payments to qualified buyers with approved credit subject to lender terms based on statistical surveys 2015. See below for full offer details and disclaimers. Offers expire September 30th, 2016.
This is Tony Stewart. You're listening to Winged Nation on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
Welcome back, everyone. It is MRN Wing Nation presented by Hercules Tire here on the Motor Racing Network. Let's go back to our Hercules Tire hotline. Joining us from Fremont Speedway, also oversees the Fast Tour, Rich Farmer's on the line. Hello, Rich. Welcome into Wing Nation.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to be here.
Great to chat with you. And Rich had a great opportunity. We just got done with Fred Rahmer, and we talked about fun and rainouts. Now, rainouts are never fun. I understand that. And from a promoter standpoint, rainouts can be a nightmare. I get that. But I did have a great visit with you during a rainout at Butler not too long ago. And sometimes they yield pretty good conversations. And I'm glad we have a chance to get you on and just kind of share what's going on at Fremont. So I appreciate the time in doing that. And Rich, just kind of an open question right off the bat. Set the weather aside, because I know you've been fighting it. How have things gone for you this season at Fremont?
Well, on the races we're able to get in, our car counts have been good. Our attendance has been good. It's nice to see the growth in the lower levels, the entry-level racing. 305s have had a tremendous car count this year with our 305 sprints, and our other, entry divisions have become a lot more stable, full fields and so forth. So it's been a good summer, like you say, outside of the weather.
Rich, we just had a conversation with Fred Rahmer about the state of sprint car racing in Pennsylvania, about how he thinks car counts are down a little bit, big events are becoming more of a thing. What are your thoughts on the state of sprint car racing in Ohio?
Well, big events are definitely becoming the thing. It's, these guys with 410s, with the engine getting so expensive and that kind of thing, you almost got to understand why. There was a used engine on the internet for sale for $60,000. So, unless we can find a way to get that more in control, I don't see the trend changing a whole lot. Now in our part of Ohio, we have a very successful, what I feel, our car count hasn't really changed much, and in the last 6-7+ years, probably we've averaged about the same car count. So, I do see the owner's side of it. A lot of the owners are getting up there in age, and Central Pennsylvania has already gone through this with the Hamiltons and all those types of people leaving the sport. Mm-hmm. So I agree with Fred.
That's true. That is very true. It is interesting, those old school owners. Where are the new old school owners coming from? And I'm not exactly sure the dollars and cents. It is a challenge, that's for sure. Rich, I love one of the events you did, and you talked about the 305 sprint cars, okay? Mm-hmm. A couple of weeks ago, it was opening night of the Sandusky County Fair. Fremont Speedway sits on the fairgrounds of Sandusky County Fair, and you know that, Rich, but I'm just kind of setting people up.
Sure.
And for the first time in years and years and years, it was decided that sprint cars were going to be part of the program. Rich, why don't you share how successful that was?
Yeah, it was the first time we've had winged sprint cars there since 1976, or sprint cars in general. And Jim Linder won it in 76, so it was kind of 40 years without winged cars. And we had run a few stock car races and truck races, and a handful, maybe 5 or 6 in the last 15 years. But the bringing the winged sprint cars back with our 305 was a great success. It was the highest attended Tuesday night of a Sandusky County Fair on record.
Wow.
So, it did a lot of good for our fair board, and the racers really liked it. They got, the 305 guys got their real night to shine and that kind of thing. And it paid a good purse. It started off as $1,000 to win, and then it went to 12, 14, 15. We had people in the stands, individuals and business owners in the stands saying, we'll add another 100. We'll add another 100. And every time we had a yellow or a slow motion or whatever, somebody was throwing $100, $200 at it. It made it a great success. And even had money added to second place. So it was definitely a good environment, a good race, and we're going to be back doing it again next year. It's going to become an annual event, and hopefully we can get it paying some more money and make it even more special.
Wow. I feel like on our show we don't really give the 305s as much love as maybe we should.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like when I looked at your website and between the Fast Series and Fremont, your car counts for 305s have been incredible. What is the state of the 305s for you, and is it something that you see is continuing to grow as it looks like it is?
Well, we've been averaging over 30 cars a night. If you go back to, before the recession, depression time, we were averaging over 40 cars a night. So, we still got a little bit to get back to that, but at our lowest point, we didn't have enough cars for a feature. I mean, we were running 15, 16 cars. So to be back, near double that number, I think the 305s is definitely the way to go. When you look at it, if you want to race a sprint car, I tell people all the time, if we was to take Fremont Speedway and put a black 5 car together and a 09 car together, like for Mintz, and a 83 car Brock Martin, if we took all their cars and put 305s in them and maybe took the mufflers off, I don't think the general fan would know the difference. Oftentimes they run the same lap times and features at our facility. Some facilities that wouldn't be capable, but at our facility, there's some times where the 305s run equal lap times. So I think the 305, when you figure dollar for dollar what it costs to race, and I've owned 410 cars, 305 cars, 360s, the 305 is definitely the most economic way to race a sprint car.
Do you see much, and this is kind of year by year, do you see graduates from the 305 up there maybe moving up to the 410s?
Oh, we have it go both ways. We have
Really?
graduates that come from 305s that go to 410s. Stuart Brubaker, Chris Andrews, Craig Mintz, all of those guys raced 305s and moved to 410s. And now we have a guy that Alvin Roepke, a former Brad Doty Classic winner, races our 305s. John Ivey, a 2-time 410 track champion, multi-time All-Star winner, races our 305s weekly. It goes back and forth. Our 305 division, you'll have everything from a 15-year-old rookie to I think Alvin's 52, and Alvin won one of our fast races over at Mercer, Pennsylvania. So they're still winning and still very competitive and putting on a great show.
That's cool. So you've got a big weekend coming up, the Jim Ford Classic, and it's going to wrap up the Fast Series right in the 305s and the 410s as well. Tell us about the weekend.
Yeah, we have 2 nights of sprint car racing. 410s will race for $5,000 to win, $1,000 for 10th, and $500 to just start the A main. And we give everybody $100, that comes and takes a competitive lap. So if they have a bad night, they still leave with $100. And then our 305s they'll race for $2,000 to win on Friday night to finish up their fast title, $305 to start. And on Saturday, we're going to split the field. That way everybody gets a chance to run a feature. So it'll be a nice event. This is our 9th year with the Jim Ford Classic, and it's the highest paying weekend we've ever had. So we're real proud to continue the growth of that event.
Sounds so exciting. It really, really does. Final question for you here, Rich, as we get ready to button up with our conversation here. One of the things you did differently this year with the Fast Series, and Fast has been Fremont and Attica historically, just 2 absolutely great racetracks. But you did take it out on the road a little bit with, you mentioned Mercer and a couple other racetracks. You happy with it? Do you want to do more? Is it where are you at with possibly looking at that series, growing or expanding a little bit?
Yeah, we did a race we was scheduled to do a race at Atomic, Butler, Mercer, Lima, Waynesfield, and then the Fremont and Attica stuff that we did complete. And I don't want to get big. We don't want to be a touring series by any means. We want to be a regional series. We want to be the series that I feel is missing in our sport today, where the guy can go to work during the week, get in his race car hauler and haul off to a race after work on a Friday night and be able to race for some good money with a good competition at nice facilities. So we're not going to grow a whole lot, but in our predicament, we needed to grow some. We're relied upon sponsors and business partners to make our program happen. Our Fast Series, we do not charge a sanctioning fee, and 100% of what comes in goes directly out to the racers. We are the nonprofit of sanctioning bodies, if you want to call it that. So for us, in order to gain ground on that, we needed to reach outside of the Fremont Attica box because, both Fremont and Attica are reaching out to all the businesses within our direct area. So we needed to reach out, become more regional, and get more interest from manufacturers, more interest from different business people and those types of things. And not only that, to give some of our other partners, they need us to race a little more for it to work better for them. And and our teams backed it up. They really like it. They've enjoyed every bit of it so far. I haven't had, really any complaints about the travel, and we look forward to 2017.
Very exciting. We really like it, and appreciate the conversation we had up at Butler a couple weeks ago, and appreciate you taking some time and joining us now. Of course, it's the Jim Ford Classic this week. We'll be following along on social media, and we'll retweet some stuff along the way as we get closer to the weekend. But congratulations, Rich, on a solid season and continued growth up there, and hope you have a great weekend this weekend.
All right, I appreciate it, and you guys have a good weekend as well.
There we go. Rich Farmer joining us here on the program. Really, really cool.
Yeah.
I love the chances, and I think Ashley was here the week after I came back from Butler. Butler was just a disaster. Rain, terrible track conditions. They canceled. They didn't. It was a mess.
Yeah.
But that week also was the week that he had the fair race with the 305s. And I'm telling you what, I love a guy that's swinging for the fence. I love a guy that's doing things. And once in a while you'll have a Butler, but once in a while you'll have a gem like that fair thing that is going to be an annual event now. And I really have a lot of respect for what Rich is doing up there. And face it, the reality of it is that he started the season in a dispute with the All-Stars, and the All-Stars and him went in different directions.
Yep.
And he's been able to carve out some really, really good stuff there despite that. And it's not been it's not been a peeing contest between the two of them. He just moved on. They've moved on.
His own thing.
And he's doing his own thing, and they do good. So I have a lot of respect for the Rich has handled this whole year. And hopefully this weekend they can end with a big finale up at the Jim Ford Classic. We need to step away. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the Sprint Car Hall of Fame, our Jeff Gordon's Kick It Person of the Week, and we'll set you up for the big race weekend. Stay with us.
Hey, this is Jason Sides, and you're listening to Steve and Kendra on Wing Nation here on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
Classic Ink USA Screen Printing and Embroidery is constantly testing the limits of custom racewear and specialized embroidery. Headquartered in Western Pennsylvania, Classic Ink holds the highest standard, maximizing your return as well as the ultimate customer satisfaction. From track swag fanwear to quick crew wear, Classic Ink has you covered. Their dedicated staff and designers will keep your race team and fans looking sharp. Contact Classic Ink today and get your team ahead of the competition. www.classicinkusa.com. That's Classic Ink, at the track and on your back.
The 25th year of the Lucas Oil American Sprint Car Series is about to begin.
Expanded national and regional tours, over 150 events across the United States, and some of Sprint Car Racing's biggest names and rising stars.
The 25th anniversary of the Lucas Oil ASCS is one you don't want to miss. Find out when the American Sprint Car Series is near you in 2016 at ASCSRacing.com. Find us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter.
And catch all the action away from the track live at RacingBoys.com.
O'Reilly.
It's O-Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Stop in today and check out store-wide savings, plus earn double points on over 225 items. It's our way of saying thank you. If you're not already a member, sign up today during O-Rewards Member Appreciation Month. It's fast, easy, and free. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Casey Kane. Now back to Wing Nation.
Thank you, Casey. We are having a blast here. Let's talk a little bit about the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. They continue with the Expand the Dream program. We talk birthdays. Sunday's birthday, one of our favorites, Johnny Hollywood Herrera. He won at the Texas Speedway, and he had a big cowboy hat on. I love it. Johnny Hollywood Herrera with the big cowboy hat. He looked good with that hat on. Well, it was in Victory Lane, of course.
Yeah.
They always look good in Victory Lane. Monday, Tony Bettenhause and Jimmy Murphy. Today, we're going to talk about Frankie in a little bit, Frankie Kerr's birthday. Tomorrow would have been Hoyt Hodnett's, Greg's dad's birthday. Interesting guy, really interesting guy. As I've gotten to know Greg a little bit more, and then as I've talked to other people, his father, just very interesting. Ron Schumann, birthday on Thursday, and Friday would have been Jason Leffler's birthday. The Jason Leffler Memorial Race, midget race, coming up in a few weeks, and we'll talk about that when we get closer. Today's birthday one of my favorites, Frankie Kerr. I love working NASCAR because I get to talk to Frankie Kerr on a regular basis. We walk in the garage, and the next thing you know, there's Xfinity cars and everything, and we're over in the corner. They're talking sprint cars, and then the crew's saying, Frankie, what do you want to do? Oh, that's right. I got to go back to work on this thing, you know. Frankie is a four-time All-Star Circuit of Champions champ, 53 All-Star wins, over 250 career wins. This is so interesting. We talk about Fremont. June 27th, 2000, 39 years old, goes and whoops him at Fremont and announces he's done. Done at the end of the year? No, done right now, retired at 39 years of age, and he's currently the crew chief for J.J. Yaley, the TriStar Motorsports in the Xfinity Series, and he is this year's class of 2016, into the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. Frankie Kerr.
Yeah, and you said it perfectly, how you talk in the garage with him all the time about sprint cars. When I had my short stint in NASCAR, he's one of the few people that would always find his way over to talk sprint cars.
Great guy. Frankie Kerr, man, I'll tell you what, really, really cool. He is one of the many people enshrined at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, sprintcarhof.com. Want to talk about another great guy, Carl Bowser, okay? It is our, if I can find the right page here, where am I at here? There it is. Carl Bowser is our Jeff Gordon's Kick It Person of the Week. And I just got this one from our friends at Turner's Iced Tea, okay? Turner's Tea just sent a note. On Sunday, he took his race car over to the 37th annual Heart to Heart picnic for the Heart Institute of the Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh. And so he took his race car over there for the kids for the picnic, and there's all kinds of pictures. We'll have them up on Facebook in a little bit.
Very cool.
His race car over there, the kids climbing in and out of the race car and everything like that. So our Jeff Gordon's Kick It Person of the Week is Carl Bowser. Carl, just another one of the great guys, regular competitor up at Lernerville in western Pennsylvania. A couple of news items. Matt Wood Racing. We had Kerry Madsen on, I think, last week. They have announced 11 races, 9 with Kerry. Pretty much Kerry had laid it out for us. They're going to run this weekend's World of Outlaw races, Eldora World Finals. And Shane Golovic going to join and race a couple of times for him in Farmington, Missouri for a National Sprint League weekend. So really cool. News yesterday, CJB Racing, big game sponsorship through 2018. But they're going down to one car. Sammy Swindell had 5 wins with the team, but he is no longer going to be part of the operation. But David Gravel has, man, he's wowed him.
Incredible season.
He has wowed him. There's no doubt about it. David Gravel doing a good job. So congratulations to Chad, Jen Clemens, Barry Jackson, David Gravel, and everyone there on the sponsorship announcement. It has got to be a great feeling to be sitting here in 2016 knowing you're sponsored through 2018 by a great company like Big Game. So really, really cool. We don't have to wait long for racing. Coming up on Wednesday night, El Paso County Raceway in Calhan, Colorado. First time the World of Outlaws have been there in years. They've never been at that racetrack, but the first time they've been in Colorado in years and years.
Yeah.
And they're getting closer to the East Coast, so we can kind of listen now a little bit.
I can stay awake.
Stay awake and listen to them. That's Wednesday night. Friday and Saturday, co-sanctioned with the National Sprint League, Clay County Fair Speedway in Spencer, Iowa, and US 36 Raceway in Cameron, Missouri. Jim Ford Classic, Fremont Speedway. We mentioned this when talking to Rich Farmer. Friday and Saturday night, big night for the 410s. Big nights both nights for the 305s as well. Late models, they've got the full program. Fremont Speedway this weekend. I love this one, the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals.
Me too.
You like that one?
Yeah, I love Oshwegan Speedway.
Do you? Yeah, yeah, really cool. 5 sanctioning groups are getting together on this one. Southern Ontario Sprints, Empire Super Sprints, Patriots, the Great Lakes Super Sprints, and, of course, Oshwegan 360 Sprints. Thursday night is a test and tune. I like this just because of the name of Friday night, the Burger Barn night before the Nationals. You ever been to the Burger Barn?
I don't know if I have.
It's just down the road from the racetrack.
I probably have
the
then.
Burger Barn is ridiculous how good that is. And Saturday night, $12,000 on the line for the 360s, the Aero Express Canadian Sprint Car Nationals. Glenn Steyer is going to join me on.
Glenn.
Isn't he a great guy?
Yeah. Incredible guy, and has put so much into sprint cars.
Yes, he has. Man, there's a guy that's all in
and
as
has
far
a
as
great
sprint car
sense
racing.
of humor.
Yes, he does. So we'll talk to him on our Wing Nation Weekend podcast this week. IRA Bumper to Bumper Sprints, Beaver Dam Raceway, Selinsgrove. It's the National Open, the Jim Nace National Open Saturday night. So big night in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Selinsgrove is the headliner on Saturday. Friday night racing, River Cities and Williams Grove. Friday night, Atomic Speedway and St. Francis County Speedway. A couple of Warrior Region races for the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour. Lakeside in your Kansas City and Sedalia, Missouri. And looks like next weekend is the season finale for the stock cars up at Jackson Motorplex. So as they wrap up a big season up there as well. And I think that's it. Blake Hahn going to join us on MRN Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit on MAV TV.
That'll
Young
be a good
Stars.
one, yeah.
Exactly. So it is really, really cool, Erin. Always fun. Man, we covered a lot of ground here today.
I know.
Talk
Good-
to
good
drivers,
stuff.
talk to drivers, talk
Promoters.
state of the sport. Oh, talk drinking beer with Fred Rahmer. All the important stuff, that's for sure. We appreciate Bill Balog joining us. Thanks to Fred Rahmer. Thanks to Rich Farmer joining us. But more important than all of that, and we say it each and every time, and we sincerely mean it, thank you for joining us here on MRN Wing Nation, presented by Hercules.
You've been listening to the nation's premier winged sprint car radio program, Winged Nation. Tune in next Tuesday at noon for more talk from the dirt tracks. Winged Nation is also available on demand in the MRN.com Media Center or download from iTunes or Stitcher. Winged Nation is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.